Good morning, everyone. Oh, frog in my throat. Morning, Rio. Morning, Lynn, June, Heather, Sarah, Jill, Janice. Rio, what are you all talking about? Pat, morning, Catherine. Yeah, it's not very nice here either. Oh, Zoom. You're Zooming, are you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we Zoom. That's an app for those of you who aren't aware of what's going on. It's Zoom is a type of app that is, well, I think it's brilliant because I like to be able to talk to people. I'm talking here and it does feel, I've got used to it now, but it does feel very weird that you talk to yourself. And although you can see people joining in and you know that they're there because you're able to participate along with the live chat, with Zoom meetings, you can actually see each other, speak to each other, interact with each other. And so obviously that's been a huge thing that people have been doing since all this lockdown lark. But we've been doing it for quite a while. So we were the first. Well, no, we weren't the first, but we were there a long time ago. Thank you to Nicola, my friend Nicola, who helped me get on all this. So it's been, yeah, a really good thing because we can talk to each other, we can craft in our own homes. So we've got all our stash all the way around us, and yet we can still craft along. Having said that, if anyone's listening, I am having problems with the video section of it. So I'm having to do that again for you. So do not worry about that. So, hi Val. Hi, Jenny, Sheila. Hope you're okay, love. Hope Trey's okay. Janice, nice to see you. So, Fancy Fold Friday. Well, we're going to do a really simple one. I'm not sure if Karen's online yet, but I'm sure she'll be watching it later because Karen comes out in a hot sweat just thinking about it. And this has got to be a really simple one, but very effective. And really, the card is going to be done in like 10 seconds. But the way we're going to embellish it is part of the enjoyment today. So we're going to take a 6x6. Well, in actual fact, it's supposed to be 6x6, but it's actually a 15 centimetre. So it's just fractionally short of 6x6. And as always with your cards, I do check if you're doing measurements and things, don't just assume that every card that you pick up from the 6x6 or the 7x7 is just as it says, because it isn't always necessarily so. Oh dear. So we're going to make a twisted easel card. Really quite simple. I've got my cutting board here with my scorer and my cutter. So I'm going to take out the cutting blade because we know what will happen. And I've just got the scoring blade there. So we're going to open up our pre-scored card. And I'm simply going to take it so that I'm going to go from one of the outer corners to the center fold, and that's it. So I'm just going to make sure, I'll just bring this in a bit. Done. Hopefully that is in focus for you. That we did this before with the running line, the track having to be centered, and I'm going to pop that point into there, and then I'm going to wiggle it around so that the folded piece, if you could see it all, it would be good, wouldn't it? Bring it out. The folded piece is also on that track, so the corner to the corner, making sure that's all in place. Pop my guide down and then just score that along. Okay. So I'm not going to do any more scoring. That's all it is. I'm going to put my cutter blade back on there because I want that. And then I'm just going to score this and burnish it down so it looks more like this. So there's your twisted easel. Right, you can all go now. I've done it. No, not really. Not really. We will make it look really special as well. So, but that's your twisted easel. So we did all sorts of easel cards before, but it's just another way of doing it. So I'm just going to score this as well whilst I'm at it. So let's embellish it. So it's a different fold. not particularly fancy, but it will show to people that it's a different way of doing things. Okay, so I'm going to put that to one side. So as I said, we know that it's 15 centimeters wide. So I'm going to take, first of all, some black card, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces of that at 13.5 centimeters square. Okay, so obviously if you're doing a different size card in the first place, you need to have different measurements for this. So that's why I'm not actually going to bother to put the measurements up, because you might not be, if you want to, I will do. But you don't necessarily need it because it will be a different card that you're doing. So 13.5 centimeters square, 2 pieces of that. Okay. And then I'm going to take 1 white piece. I think I will do white, but I have got something else in case. So I'm going to do a 13 centimeter square as well in white. But I've also done this a bit earlier, and I'm going to have a go at doing that because I wasn't quite sure. So 13 centimeter square of that as well, because I'm not 100% sure. So this is just an embossed piece of yellow card that's 13 centimeters. Okay, so that is a possibly maybe, and that is a possibly maybe, and we'll see which one we decide that we're going to use for that. Just realised that I didn't do that right, did I? Did I? Yeah, 13 by 13. Yeah, I did. Okay. So there's our 2 cards there. Now I'm going to be using a fairly new stamp that's out, and I'm afraid I haven't got any, and neither of the suppliers, but I'm going to use a bee because I just thought we'd have a bee day. Not a bee day. We don't want a bee day, do we? You know what I mean? A BEE day. We don't want to. No, don't even go there. Okay, so I'm going to use that. So in advance, I have taken my sprays, my good old sprays, and I've used the yellow one, jaune, and also cire, or C-I-R-E. So that's the orangey sort of colour. And I've sprayed those, and hopefully you can see as well that I've then sprayed the gold finishing spray on top of it. And if you could see that in real life, it's so pretty. It's really lovely. So I'm going to cut that to 13 by 13 as well. Let me just check. So that one we cut to 13.5. Yeah, I'm going to cut that piece to 13 by 13. I just thought that would be a really pretty background for our bee to go onto. Okay, so 13 by 13 is our bee. So then, just to make it look a little different, I've managed to grab one of my stencils that, if you had the Chloe kit, magazine kit from a little while ago, oh gosh, a couple of months ago now, it had this sort of honeycomb stenciling, and I thought I just want to do a little bit of that on the background. So I've got one of my dye inks in red berry, and I'm just going to go over it in places. I'm just picking it up and just go over it in places. And because I'm using a colour that is very similar to the colour I've got on here, you're going to have to put a fair amount on, but it's just going to pick it up in sort of some random places here. Okay, so I'm just going to go over that like that. I will be covering it anyway, but I just like to give it a bit of a difference at the bottom. So just put another bit of more colour there. So you can use it just plain if you want, but I just fancy putting a bit of stencil work on it because I'm just quite enjoying the stencils. It just breaks up that colour there. Okay, just want another bit there, I reckon. So there's your stencil of your honeycomb, and as I say, that's from the Chloe magazine kit, which came out in beginning of March, I think it was. So that's my basis there. All right. And that is going to go onto there like that. So you can see that it's got that little black rim all the way around. So then I'm going to take my bee. And I'm going to pop my piece of card down onto the centre, and I'm just going to place my grid lines over the top so that I can move my stamp and put it into position without getting any ink on there where I don't want it. And he's going to be fairly central, so I think we'll go for there with him. Whoops. So I'm going to pick that up, take the plastic sheet away, and I'm going to ink him up this time with VersaFine Nocturne, so the really black one, because when you're doing this, I really think that this stands out so beautifully. So just going to stamp him all over, make sure we got all the detail. This is sort of a collage stamp, this one, so that it's got a lot going on in the background as well as in the foreground. Okay. And just press him down. Keep saying him. I don't know whether it's a her or not. So I suppose all of them are worker bees, aren't they? Apart from Queen Bee. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. I just wish, I hope you can see it, but the shine of this is just so lovely. It really does look lovely in real life. In real life. So, okay, there's my bee like that, but he's not going to be finished quite like that. He is going to have another one stamped out. I'm going to play about. So here's another piece of the card. Pop that into position. I'm going to stamp him out again a second time, but this time I'm particularly bothering more about the bee's body than I am the rest of it. So don't worry about the rest of it. Don't worry about where it is on there. Oh, do worry. We need to make sure we got in there. Okay, let's go around that way. That's the way. So I'm not bothered about the back of him. I want the body. I want your body, Mr. B. So that's the bit that I'm particularly interested in, is the bee's body, which is there. Okay. So then we are going to do a bit of embossing as well. Okay, so I'm going to now emboss with gold detail powder. So that's this one, the extra fine, onto a piece of vellum. The vellum is quite thick vellum because I do prefer that. And I'm just going to make sure, because it's vellum, that I've gone over with my anti-static bag, because otherwise that's going to pick that up. Now, I haven't cleaned off my stamp. I know that. But not to worry. Not to worry, she says. Do not worry, do not pass go. But you do really need to clean it because it's all black. We need to clean that off. So I'm going to use some of my spray here. So I don't use the stamp cleaning spray very often because I find that it's an expensive way to do it, really. But I think under these circumstances, it's probably best that I just take off the worst of all of my stamp there. Okay, so I'm then going to use my Wow embossing pad or any other embossing pad. And again, I'm wanting this time to pick up my bee, but I'm particularly wanting to pick up his wings because I thought we'd have a little bit of golden embossed wings. So I'm particularly pressing down onto the wings bit here. And hopefully you can see that that has picked up, partly because it's probably, you can see it so well, partly because there's a bit of stuff on there, but we're covering it, so it don't matter. Let's just pop that out of the way. So I'm just going to put some of my Relief Gold embossing powder, and as I say, might as well do all of it, but I'm particularly bothering about the wings. I was going to say leaves. Just shake the worst of that off. Pop that back. So I'm just going to heat my gun up for this, and just whilst I'm doing it, to remind you that when you are doing heat embossing on vellum, it melts really quickly, far quicker than it would do on a piece of card or paper. So do be mindful of that, because otherwise you're going to burn it. And if you see, very quickly it will change. Okay. It changes almost instantly. I didn't have to heat that up very long before that had changed. Okay, so now you've got your gold one as well. All right, now having done that beautiful one, I'm actually going to cut out just the leaves. Leaves, I said it again, wings, the wings. So I'm just going to fussy cut the wings. So I'm leaving a little bit of a border, and I'm going to cut across his body, because I found that I've got to have something for the wings to sort of hold on to, and if you cut across the body, that gives you a basis for it. So just cut all around there. I hope some of you managed to catch the Sue Wilson Christmas stuff yesterday. It does seem odd to be talking about Christmas, but Christmas stuff is launching everywhere. But we've also got Father's Day and all sorts of things coming up yet. So there's loads of new things coming to interest you. So here is my wings that's done on the vellum. So we don't need that bit. Now we need to cut out the body of my bee. So now I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to want all of his legs, because, you know, I don't know if I like his legs or not. So I am going to fussy cut it in case I do, and then I might just chop his legs off, because I'm like that. Because I can, I might just chop his legs off. But I'm not going to cut out his wings on here. He is going to be a wingless on here. Okay. So what are you all crafting at the moment? Are you all crafting Christmas, or are you not crafting? I think some of us are getting back into the mode of it. I think we all went a bit sort of, I don't know, didn't know what to do with ourselves really. But I am very pleased that I have done, I know it's a bit late because my little grandson is 3 weeks old today, but I have done his, shall we say, keepsake instead of card, and I'm very, very pleased with it. When I have known that they have received it, I will be posting it, because I am a bit proud of it. It took ages. It cost a fortune. And it took me hours and hours and hours, a real labour of love, but I love it. And I think that you might quite like it as well. So, okay, I think I will keep his little antennae there and legs. So here's our card. Here's our card back. And I think we need one of the sentiments on there, don't we? So I think that we will put the always be kind. So let's just do that first. Just take that off. Pop my card on there. Now this is a brand new stamp, so it's not going to be a problem about getting any ink on, but I always like to be 100% sure, and I can use the actual lines on here to make sure that it is straight as well. So I'm just going to pick that up. Take my plastic off, use my VersaFine Nocturne as well. There we are, that's better. So that just finishes him off there. Now, so with our bee that's going to go on there, that's all ready to go. So let me first of all attach this. Okay, so I need some glue and put that on the back. Oh, I have found the nozzle. It is a lovely stamp, isn't it? I think I will be getting it in again, but it's a fairly new one from Woodware. Came out about, well, last month sometime. And I found that the second it comes in, it's all gone again. Yes, I know I've got it upside down. It does not matter. So I'm just going to pop that into position. Press from the other side easier. I do like some of the ranges that they're now getting from Woodware, some of the sentiments that we've had. And I'm going to be doing a special on sentiments with that, not this weekend, but the following weekend on the Sunday, with a beautiful sentiment. And I think you're going to like that one as well. So there's my bee all into place. Now I'm going to look where his wings are there, and they're just sort of shoulders, so that's going to go onto there like that. I'm going to put a bit of my glue glaze on the back of him. I keep calling it him, her, whatever. I'm going to put the glue glaze on because we're attaching the vellum, but we've got a big piece of embossed bit there, so I just want to make sure that that will stay stuck, and I'm thinking it will. If not, a bit of tape on the back won't go amiss, but no, we're okay. Okay, so we've got our bee with the vellum like that. So then I want a piece of, I'm going to mould it first and hold that, and I'm just going to bend him around slightly so that he's got more of a shape to him. Okay, then I'm going to put a bit of tape down the centre. Oops, a bit too long. And I think I'm going to put a bit of tape on top of that as well, because I wanted it to be quite thick, and that one isn't quite thick enough. That's it. So my bee is then going to go right over the top of my bee that is on the actual page there. Okay, so you can see then that you've got the dimension to it, but you've also got his beautiful wings, which once that's in position can then flick up a little bit in the vellum. So if you recall, we were here doing a fancy fold, which we seem to have sort of got away with, but as I said, it's one of the easiest ones we've done. But now let's put this all together. So the card itself is going to sit up like that, like a sailboat. But when you open it, then you'll be able to see where your bee is going to go. So in order to have a flat card there and know that it's in the right position, you need to just make sure that these corners are on that fold. So let me just pick it up there. Hopefully then you can see that that corner points to that fold, that corner points to that fold. And this bit, the bottom right hand corner, is going to be the bit where you need to put the glue. So because we don't want to put it on that bit as well, otherwise you'll end up with it sticking on the front. So, and then when I stick him back into position, as I said, corner onto the fold, corner onto the fold, and we are there. So this is the bit here. This corner is the bit that's stuck. So if you can imagine, then it's going to sit up like that, and that bit there isn't stuck down at all. So then, if you recall, we cut out 2 pieces of black card, and although this does give a wide border, I think it looks better, and it needs to be the same size as the one there so that it all coincides. It looks nice then. So that goes inside the card. Now comes, do we put the sort of honeycomb yellow? What do you reckon? Do we put the yellow honeycomb, or do we put white? Answers, please. What do you reckon? White or yellow, which has been embossed? What do you think? White, the honeycomb, no to the yellow. Okay. Honeycomb, oh blimey. I could put both. I could emboss the white. Yeah, I could emboss the white. What do you reckon? Emboss the white or yellow? White honeycomb, emboss the white. Definitely the honeycomb. Shall I try and emboss the white? Okay then, bear with me. I'm going to go emboss the white. That'll give us a better idea. Hold on. Here we go, embossed white. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Oh, can you see that? There you go. Embossed white. I think that's the way to go. So get rid of the yellow bit. So I'm just gonna, now do I do it one way or the other? Embossed or debossed? Debossed, I think. Decisions on a Friday. Who could be doing with it? Eh? So let's just pop this into position here. Now I've just got to make a stopper. So I've just got to make a little stopper that goes on here because, as we said, it is an easel card. Excuse me. So what shall we go with? I think we just go with the same sentiment, to be honest. I quite like that sentiment. So I'm just going to stamp that up. Random in the middle of a bit of paper, which isn't ideal, but there you go. So there's my sentiment done again. I'm going to take my small trimmer then for this and just trim this to a size. I've no idea what size it's going to be at the moment. Just make sure it's straight. So it's a very small one. So that is about, let's have a look, 2 centimetres by 5, roughly. 2 centimetres by 5. Then I'm going to take a piece of my card there. Just going to stick that on. So you do need a stopper when you're doing an easel card because it needs to be able to actually sit on something. And I'm going to use my big scissors just to cut that. But you could use your trimmer. I just find when it's smaller things, a big pair of scissors is easier to cut things out rather than try and getting in all the fiddly little bits of there. But then again, that's me. So I'm just going to turn that over, and I'm going to pop a bit of foam onto the back there because we need it to sit proud. And because I'm putting it onto an uneven surface, I'm going to put a bit of my glue there just to hold it into place. So when you're placing this, it more or less will stay where you want it to. But if you just put that, let's say, about there, then it will hold open like that. Can you see that? Okay. So I hope you like the twisted easel card. It was more about, unfortunately, from your point of view, it was more about what we're going to do with the size, the design of it, in all honesty. But I think you can see that any square, you could do it as a rectangle, same thing, but any square card and square bit in the center really works with this sort of thing. And it's just something a bit different, but really simple. You just couldn't get any more simple than that. And yet it looks really different. I will be getting the bee stamp in. Oh, nice that your son just rung you. Isn't it lovely to hear from them? Yeah. I will be getting the bee one in. I'm hoping that they will have it in very soon. But at the moment, I looked just before I went online just to see. And I'm afraid to say that they were out of stock. And it's a bee nuisance, I reckon, don't you? But yeah, okay. But he is rather lovely. I really like him. I think the whole thing adds up to it, really. I love the twisted easel side of it. I love doing the background. It gives that lovely sheen. And as I said, if you could see it in real life with the gold, it really is shining. And just cutting, he did need his little legs, didn't he? But anyway, I hope you liked it. So I will be back on Sunday at 11 o'clock with a Sunday special where we're going in Christmas, I'm sorry, just the once, just dipping our toes into Christmas. And I'm just going to play about with one of the new Sue Wilson dies. And that will be great. We've got Monday, or rather John Lockwood has got the new pop-up box inserts. So you may have had those as advent boxes from last Christmas time, and now he's bought some fantastic new inserts suitable for every day, but also wedding and baby. So that's going to be coming up on Monday and Tuesday. But I will be back on Sunday at 11 o'clock with you to show you the Sunday special. I hope you have a lovely day today and tomorrow. And any news on the blending brushes? No, I'm sorry. I contacted them and asked about that again. And now they're saying it'll probably be July. I don't know why. There seems to be one particular batch. I think you might have seen that on a certain TV channel that is saying that some of their stuff that they are showing now is on an extended delivery for the middle of July, which I found quite incredible, really, that they're expecting you to pay for that now, but they won't be sending it out until the middle of July. I know it's not necessarily their fault. They probably thought they were getting all the stock, but I did think it was a bit much saying, well, buy it now and whatever. So there you go. So I will pop this back onto YouTube on the Fancy Fold Friday as the Twisted Easel. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming to help me make my decisions on what colour it should be. And I will see you on Sunday. Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Bye.